It looks like Alun Jones is coming back 16 days after dislocating his shoulder. Let's start with some Lions news, Zach. Loads of news.
Loads of news.
The first big one, which is somehow bigger than Marcus Smith. It looks like Alun Jones is coming back 16 days after dislocating his shoulder.
That's ridiculous. Here, how much like milk or protein shakes has that boy been drinking? Like breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That's the only thing I can think of. Because I have heard, I don't know, this is a completely random tangent. I'm quite tired, but apparently, like if you're drinking loads of milk, apparently it does speed up recovery with like kind of those sorts of things. I don't know how true that is, but that's what I've heard. It's remarkable. It is just sheer remarkable.
There is players that are renowned for coming back quickly and being, they call them like freak healers. Apparently in Henderson's one at Ulster where you give him 9 weeks and he just knew himself. That's 5, lads. And there's people on the flip side of that are 13 weeks. And it looks like Alun Jones
Joey Carberry.
But Harvey actually made a good point to me. He said that it's really risky from Alun Jones because he could just end up completely shafting himself. But I was on the other side of that. You're 150 caps in. If there's a chance you might as well just go for it. And if the shoulder comes off, the shoulder comes off. But at least the shoulder came off in the final test.
I think with Alun Jones, I think again, like one of the probably reoccurring themes that is not one of the major ones, but one of the other ones that's kind of came with this Lions tour is how much the Lions matters to professional rugby players. You know, out of the 80 people who got letters saying, would you be interested in the Lions tour this year? This is what it's going to look like with COVID and bubbles and all these different things, self-isolation. Only one person said no, and that was Ben Youngs, and he had pretty good reasons for doing so. And then Alun Jones is faced with the opportunity. It's like, here, Alan, here's the deal. We can do some risky stuff with your shoulder. It may work, it may not. You could potentially end your rugby career this summer, and you'll bottle your chances of going to France with Wales in 2023. Yet, he says, you know, inject me with whatever you're going to inject me with. You know, for me, it just proves how much the Lions matters, especially obviously more with Alun Wynne being captain and everything like that. It's a huge honor, but he's willing to risk it all for this Lions tour and potentially not play in a World Cup, because that's when Pivac's made it clear that that's what he wants him there for.
Yeah, he's in camp with Wales, and as we're currently recording, he's meant to do a double session today, and if he comes through that double session, they're going to take him. So it looks highly probable, but if Alun Jones, if it's been announced that he's not coming, we apologise. We're filming this, and as far as we know, if he gets through,
there hasn't been anything like.
I think they are really waiting out. They're waiting until the last moment they can, and rightly so, because something like that, you don't want to fly him out for him to then pick up another injury and have to be flown all the way back again. But regardless, I think if you can kind of get him in there, you can. I wouldn't start him in the first couple of tests. Henderson's done well enough. Calls bias, but I think there is a role for him. And my question to you, Zach, is: does Conor Murray then get stripped of captaincy?
Well, this is the big question, isn't it? It depends, because Conor Murray was clearly there because, well, I think he definitely has leadership qualities without a shadow of a doubt. And anything, he'll be the sort of person that will thrive in this role that he hasn't really had before in his professional career. But at the same time, he's clearly there for pragmatic reasons. Conor Murray is really one of the few players that are going to start the first test. Nailed on 9 jersey. It's his, you know, some of the battles for the jerseys is crazy, which we'll get into later on in the pod. So to then strip him and make Alun Wynne captain, who may not play or whatever, I don't know, but at the same time, he was the first captain. Unless they rejig it, I don't know, make Conor Murray backs captain or something. I don't know. What do you think? I don't know.
I think this could be, tell me to shut up if I'm trying to be too mavericky, too Mr. Knowledge. I think when Alun Jones got injured, Gatland took it upon himself to nominate new leaders that wouldn't necessarily have thought they're the number one leader. For example, Stuart Hall get given captaincy for the game, Henderson given captaincy for a game, and Jamie George. 3 people who people would not have thought would captain maybe a midweek game, and that's what they did. But with Owen Farrell being voted the top leader and stuff, he knew he had Farrell there. He knew he had Farrell setting the examples, so you don't need to give him the armband necessarily because you know what you're going to get. But he wanted to grow more leaders. And some people, if you give me captain Zac, I become a different player. Shout out to Mr. Boyd back in the Korean days. If he gave me captain, I would have been a different player. Some
Yeah,
people,
that's a big statement to make, Telf. I
but
don't know
do you
about
know
that
what I mean,
one.
though, Zach? Some people
It's true.
need to
Some
actually
people
be
need the
given the
responsibility.
captaincy. And Murray probably is going to grow now because he got given it. Whereas I feel you don't need to give it to Farrell or anyone. But now that Alun's back, it's like, will all those players go back into their shell now, or are they just seasoned pros?
Well, on the Farrell, no, Farrell may not even see out the rest of the tour. There's real speculation that he might not see it out. I think you're definitely right. I feel like
Look
if
at
you're
Jimmy
looking at,
George. Look at Jimmy George against the
yeah, it's true.
Sharks, outstanding because he was
Yeah,
given the armband. It
like
happens.
you're right, and like you look at Conor Murray, and you think, man, he has it all in terms of just what he's done with Ireland, what he's done with Munster. Maybe not what he's done with Munster, but you look at that and you're like, what else can he add to his game? Being match day captain, that'll add to his game. Being tour captain, that'll add to his game. And you're definitely right. And you will see, I think Conor Murray starts tomorrow for the first time since being captain.
Yeah.
Is that right, Telf? I think that's right. I think that's right. I'm right in saying that. And against what is essentially the fourth test.
He's covering 10 as well because obviously there's a few issues at 10 at the minute.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
So
it's going to be, and I think we'll see probably one of the best performances from Conor Murray in years tomorrow. I feel like, especially with the weight of the game and everything going on. But back to Alun Wyn, I don't even know if they'll let him maybe start the first test. They may want to like get him back in the tour, back in around the squad, and then bring him in for the second test. And then obviously then but the question still is, what do you do? Honestly, I don't have a clue. I do not have a clue.
You play it by ear. You pick the team and then you pick the captain accordingly. I think maybe that's the reason he gave it to Conor Murray. Maybe this is again thinking too deep into it because he knew Conor Murray's the type of character that he can't just take it off. Whereas you'd be pulling it off a Maro Itoje or a Farrell.
Or on Farrell. Yeah, that's a good point.
That's
a good point. That's a very good point. Yeah, I honestly don't know.
Speculation. It's all speculation. We'll wait and see what happens on that one.
Yeah.
The other big news is Marcus Smith has been called up, and
I called it on the pod. That's all I'm saying. I called it. I may have been joking about it, but I still called it.
we flirted with it for weeks upon weeks. Premiership final stuff. Mark Smith's the best 10 in Europe at the minute, so he's been picked. And
I agree with that. And also, he's very similar. Obviously, he's very similar to Finn Russell, and he's on there to potentially be Finn Russell's replacement. So it makes sense. Like, who else? Here's a tough question for you before we get into Marcus Smith. Was there anyone else who could have replaced Finn Russell on the tour? Anyone else?
I seen a tweet that said James Ryan. that was just a bit of banter from the Irish media, but it is fair enough because something they do is be like James Ryan. But
that's funny. But like, honestly, when you think about it, someone who's like Finn Russell, which we've talked about it on the pod before, about how on the tour you need those different characters. You need Finn Russell in training to kind of bring out the best. And say if he's playing against an Owen Farrell or Dan Bigger, it makes sense. But I can't think of any other 10 that would be willing to go. Maybe a Danny Cipriani or something. I don't know. That would have been a curveball. But no, Marcus Smith, thoroughly deserved.
So I tweeted on, you can follow us at Rugby Telf on the Telf Rugby Twitter. I tweeted, I love the inclusion of Marcus Smith on red hot form and as injury cover. His role is to embrace and learn everything about the Lions. Will certainly be there in 4 years' time. Makes more sense than a Sexton or forward, as looks like Finn will be okay. But the thing is, if Finn isn't okay and Smith has to step in and be on the bench for a test, is he ready? Because I know he ripped it up. We'll get on to Canada later. And I know he ripped up against USA. And he did it in the Prem final. Doing it on a Lions tour in a test. And you're only one positive case away from that happening nowadays.
That's a good point.
I don't think Gatlin would have taken him, though, if he thought he's just injury cover. But I've just tweeted about it saying that he is just injury cover and that's what Gatlin's thinking. But at the same time, worst case scenario, you can't then go Sexton, we need you out.
I think you probably could. Like, I'm thinking, like, for me, if Finn Russell, I don't know, it depends on Owen Farrell. If Owen Farrell's ruled out, Sexton's on the plane. I think he has to be on the plane. I mean, like, who else are you going to choose? I don't know, like, I don't know, Sheedy or like Joe or like Joe Simmons or something. I don't know. So like I
George
think
Ford as well. This is
George.
this
Oh,
time I
no,
love
I don't know, man. That boy, like as far as I'm concerned, his international career is over. Like the way Marcus Smith's been playing. But at the same time, you got like these are strange days. Yes, he's one positive case away from being in the test squad, but at the same time, it's a game not played in front of fans. You know, that completely changes the dynamic. All of a sudden, experience is more and less important at the same time. Um, you look at Marcus Smith's Telf. We've watched him in the Premiership now for what, 4 years. He takes everything in his stride. It's just no matter the challenge, he just takes it in his stride and just knocks it out the park for six. And with the Lions, I fully expect him to do exactly the same. I expect Gregor Townsend to come out and say that Marcus Smith has been one of the best in training, that he's, he's showing up the big guns, he's tweaking Owen Farrell's game. I fully expect it from him because he's an absolute quality player. Yes, he's incredibly, incredibly young and very inexperienced, but sometimes just that attitude and the character that he has can outweigh the inexperience.